Hey guys, welcome to Rusted Fireworks, and on today's episode we're working on a Volkswagen. Okay, this is a Volkswagen Tiguan. It's a 2019, 2019 right there. Bam. Now these engines have a very common problem. They have a leak in the thermostat housing. Now the thermostat housing is combined with the water pump. It's combined with a whole bunch of hoses that run into it, obviously, and it's belt driven. Volkswagen makes some crazy designs. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, all of them guys. I'm not even going to question it. What I am going to question is why are they still using a lot of plastic in their parts? So I'm going to show you guys the part real quick. Here is the part. As you guys can see, there's a water pump right there. I'll show you guys any tips and tricks that I know how to do these. I've done a couple of them in the past before. You are able to remove the intake manifold, but the part that I'm going to show you guys is without removing the intake manifold, so you don't have to mess around with the injectors or any of that stuff. But first, you guys already know what we got to do. We got to drop that intro. So let's drop that intro and let's get this video here rolling. Check it out. She's a leaker. The first thing I'm going to do is remove this. Now, a lot of people are like, where's the bolts? You know, especially if you're, new to working on cars. You grab from one corner, pop it, grab from the back, pop it. There she is. She is going to inspect what I'm doing. That, ladies and gentlemen, is my cat mechanic. Thomas, the old shop cat, he's gone. I don't know where he went. Why? Hey, kitty, come on, you're gonna get stuck. Come on. Oh, never mind, there's another way to get out. Yeah, I don't know why cats are like that, but so the part is right here. As you guys can see, there's one of the hoses right here. That's basically the part. So the main thing is that I would always remove the intake manifold, and it was easier to get to it. There's another way that you can do it that my dad showed me, that you don't have to remove the intake manifold, but it's a very complicated way. I'm gonna try to do it that way. If I can't at the end, I'll still remove the intake manifold and I'll do it my old-fashioned way. But my dad said, hey, there's a way you can do it without having to remove the intake manifold. I want to show that to you guys. Any of the tools that I use, I'm gonna show it to you guys. Any of the specialty stuff, but he said I shouldn't need specialty stuff, anything. It should be the T30, T25, and T20 Torx bits, which I have them all, and then a couple hose clamps, and parts should come off. So yeah, so let me set you guys in the tripod, and we're gonna go ahead and start working on this thing. Believe it or not, putting up one of these makes a world of difference when you're working outside in a vehicle. But yeah, so this thing's been sitting for no longer than 20 minutes, by the way. Okay, look at that. She's a leaker. We're gonna go ahead and unhook this hose right here. We're gonna take off this connector. Okay, then this clamp has to come off. We're gonna basically remove this whole assembly right here. Okay, there's that. Make sure you pull out this hose. Now, always remember that hose goes there. There's that one, and there's that one. There we go. Now we have better access to everything right here, because we're gonna have to remove this charge pipe going into the intake as well, because this one goes into a turbo, and then this one goes into the actual intake manifold. I'll move this out of the way. Get yourself a magnet, put the bolts on there. Then you lift up the tab, and that should be able to come off. So there's a little tab right here. You got to lift it up, and then it'll release the whole thing, the whole assembly. So there's the assembly. I'm doing all the top work first, by the way, and then I'm going to do the bottom part. There's a clip down there. You press the red out, and then you press on the red down, So you push the red out and then press the red down. And that basically disengages the clip right there. What I had to do, let me show you guys. I removed the hose, the upper radiator hose, and that allowed it for the fan shroud to actually come up. And here we go. Here's the fan. By the way, it was only one plug that was needed to actually remove for it to actually come off the whole way. You didn't actually need to remove 2 plugs. It was just that one that I removed initially. Hey, no. Guys, I'm serious. If you guys want a cat, check it out. I have twins. I have two twin girls that are black, just like this one. And then that orange one right there, that's Antonio Banderas, because he's the one that played Puss in Boots. And then the other one is Mittens, the one with the little white paws. That's Mittens. So now I can actually remove the whole radiator, the upper radiator hose, which is, I've got a container at the bottom. So basically the part goes like this, okay? The upper radiator hose goes right here. If I see that the camera work isn't as good, I am gonna remove the intake manifold, and that's mostly so that you guys as an audience can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the compressor so that in case I do have to remove this, I have something to. All right, I really hope this camera angle works. Okay, so there's a bolt right here, and it's for the charge pipe for the intercooler to the intake, okay? We have to remove this charge pipe in order to get better access to it. So we're gonna remove this clamp right here. Loosen that up. So there we go. There's that hose right there. And now we want to take that one up. And then this comes off. This connector right here. This comes off. This for the boost control, I believe. A lot of these are just Torx, by the way. They're Torx 30. And if I can barely see them, the camera is not going to pick them up. But just know that they're there, okay? Okay, I'm going to go up top now. 3 connectors right here. We remove these 3. Charge pipe is still disconnected from here. There's 1 bolt on the top, 1 bolt at the bottom, and it's loose on there now, okay? So now we're gonna go towards the bottom, but first I want to be able to disconnect the bigger hoses, and then we're gonna go ahead and right now and remove the throttle body. So throttle body's 4 bolts. We're gonna do it all from the bottom. T30 connector, and then wiggle. There's that upper radiator hose one. There's a low radiator hose. And then the last one. There we go. This is that plastic piece where the belt goes on there. It's just 2 bolts and it's held onto the water pump itself. It's held on like that through those 2 bolts, so I have to remove this one and this one in order to be able to put this back on there. So once you remove those 2 bolts, you're going to be able to remove the plastic piece and the belt. Just once you're down there, taking off that last bolt down here to be able to remove that plastic, you're able to remove these 2 bolts. Now the 1, 2, 3 upper ones, you can remove from the top. You guys can see I have an extender, but I'm gonna extend this into a little longer. That way I'm able to move it from right here. There's an old piece, and as you guys can see, the gaskets aren't on this piece, meaning the gaskets are still on the block. So we want to be able to remove those before we put the new piece on there. The old piece, as you guys can see, all the leakage was from down here. Probably the gasket that goes right here. I don't know why they don't just sell the gasket. They probably do, but it's better if you just replace the whole thing. It's gonna leak again anyways. And there's another piece right here that we have to put that back on there. So there's a pipe back there that we have to basically fish through this pipe right here. And now the installation is a reversal of the disassembly, but so the pieces are removed already, but I want to show you guys before I tell you guys that's it, and then I just show you guys the car running afterwards. I want to show you guys down there, so let's go ahead and go down there. It already sounds like it stopped leaking. So that is where the part goes. As you guys can see, you guys can probably see those gaskets still. That piece down here, right here, that's where that other part hooks up to. And then let me see. There we go. There's the gaskets. They're off. And that's it. There's really not much to it. It's a pain in the butt to get to it. That's the only thing. It took me about 30 minutes, honestly, to get to the actual part, and then it took me an additional 15 minutes to get the part itself out. So it doesn't take that long. It does take longer when you do remove the intake manifold. That's why my dad said don't remove the intake manifold, save some time. But the dealer does charge you about 48 hours to do this procedure. So they charge you anywhere from smaller shops, they'll charge you about $900 to about $1,300 just to do this part. And like I said, it's a normal common thing. They go out all the time, which sucks. I know it sucks. They go out all the time. So but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. Please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe on this channel. I'm gonna go ahead and put the part back on. I'll just show you guys the car running, but that's basically it. That's how you remove it. The belt, like I told you guys, I wanted to show you guys that before I go, is right here. And like I said, it looks like the ones that them old school vacuums always had. So yeah, if that thing goes out, water pump goes out, all hell breaks loose. Next video, I'm looking to go and buy some steel tubing and some square tubing. I want to be able to do the rock sliders on the Ram, and I want to be able to make a flatbed. I posted on Instagram. If anybody, what do you guys think? Because I saw two different flatbeds, and I'm in between choosing one of those two. One of them has toolboxes in the back, which would be great because I do go and do work on cars outside of my house. I try not to, but if you know the car's broken down and they don't have money for a tow, then of course I'm gonna go and help them out. But off-roading toolboxes on the top, it wouldn't be that good, especially steel ones, because you're rocking and going back and forth. You know what I mean? Rock crawling, no. But if you're doing like recoveries, then I get it, you know. But the truck's not a recovery truck, not yet, of course. So I'm thinking of just doing the flatbed first, and then upgrading later on to more toolboxes on all that. This is the end of the video. I always want to show you guys, but check it out. No leaks whatsoever. We just parked up the car that was there before, but the leak should have been right there. No leaks. The whole car is already assembled back together, and it runs great. Turn it on. There it is. Car is running. Cool. It says car is running. I don't know why, but yeah, car is done. The part, like I said, I already put it together. Also, I wanted to tell you guys something. So, car's already on there. We used 1.5 gallons of coolant. The kit does come with new seals for the hoses that connect to the actual part. Please make sure you put those on there before you assemble it back together. The part that we replaced, I'm gonna leave it in my description below. And like with anything, if you guys go to my Amazon affiliate links, I do get a small kickback. I have to say that. it's not a lot, but it's something to help out the channel. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Car's done, ready to go. I'm gonna take it to them, and I'm gonna go hang out with my wife and kids. See you guys next time. Peace.